Hello there. Michelle G here, Bendy, Stitchy. My pronouns are she, her, and today is Sunday. It's November 10th. It was all kinds of sports yesterday for Rosie, so I didn't film a Flosstube, but that's okay because it's been 2 weeks anyway. But if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I did take last week off. I was in New Orleans. So it was so much fun, and I didn't buy any cross stitch, but I did buy some tarot decks. So if you like to hear about my tarot, then stay tuned for the end of the video when I talk about that. But mostly we'll talk about cross stitch today. Sometimes I knit, but I haven't knit at all. Surprise, surprise. I think it'll be more surprising if I do show some knitting. But yes, today's November 10th, so happy birthday to my friend Kim's mom. Hi, Kim's mom. Happy birthday. And let's get into it. So I have a fully finished object that I can show you that goes with a call to action because it's for charity. It's actually not fully finished, but it's finished. Whatever. I have a big finish of an older whip. And then I have 3 whips. And one is a finish for now. And then, anyway, the finish that I can show you, which I'm so excited about, this is, because I'm really good at naming things, I called this nonfiction bookmark. So I was asked by Amanda, who is Bad Stitched, to join her bookmark collaboration. She does collaborations called Spellbound Stitches. And this is the 3rd collaboration. This was bookmarks. There are 27 bookmarks in this PDF. Is it a zine, like magazine, or is it a zine? I think it's a zine. Anyway, there's 27 bookmark patterns. And this one's mine, nonfiction. So I do read quite a bit of nonfiction and I enjoy it. I read a lot of astrophysics. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. You can read astrophysics books without being an astrophysicist. Thank goodness, because I am no astrophysicist. But Neil deGrasse Tyson makes it accessible. I really enjoy him. Read a lot about astrophysics, read a lot about archaeology. I majored in classical studies, so I just love all that old stuff getting dug up out of the ground. What it tells us about who we were and who we are and where we came from. This is biology. I love reading books. I got hooked on biology books when I read Omnivore's Dilemma from Michael Pollan. That was a good one. And then history. I just finished a book called The Wager, and it was about a shipwreck, a British shipwreck. So this is my nonfiction bookmark, and you can get it as a part of a collaboration, like I said. So if you go to Bad Stitch on Instagram and you click on this top link, Spellbound Stitches Volume 3 Charity Bookmark, it will take you to this page here. And you don't have to do all that clicking. I'll just put this link in the description so don't worry about all that clicking unless you want to do all that clicking. Give Amanda a visit on her page. That would be great too. She has good stuff. But I'll put this direct link. So here are the 27 bookmarks that we all came together to do. We're called Stitchers for Literacy. And what you do is you donate. We have 5 charities that you can choose from. You make a donation of at least $15 and you take a screenshot and you forward it to spellboundstitchescollab@gmail.com. It's right here. And it says what the proof of donation has to show. Take your credit card numbers off. We don't want them. And then they will email you back a pattern booklet within 24 hours. So for a $15 donation, at least, you get 27 patterns for bookmarks. Like, it's a lot. So you can choose Book Aid International, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Rose used to benefit from that. She aged out of it, but until she was 5 years old, she got a book a month from Dolly Parton. The International Book Project. Those are the 3 international charities that we chose. And then in North America, there's a charity called Books to Prisoners. And there's one called the Black Children's Books and Authors. So choose whichever one you want. Donate at least $15. Follow the directions. Send your receipt. And you get 27 bookmark patterns, including mine. Some of us are going to be doing a bookmark a month next year. So I think that's totally attainable. I actually stitched this in 2 days. It's got 5 colors. It's all DMC. I think most all of us use DMC. So, also please do let me know in the comments if you are a commenter on videos. Let me know what genres of books you like to read, because this will remain exclusive to the bookmark collab for a while, probably 6 months. That's usually I have to go back and read the terms and conditions, but usually 6 months is what I do. But then I think I would love to release this as a bigger pattern, and I would like to make it kind of a, because I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. Who else remembers Choose Your Own Adventure books, right? If you choose this, then go to that page. If you choose that, then go to that page. I would like to make this a Choose Your Own Adventure pattern where I have like romance and mystery and sci-fi, and there's different motifs, and you can make your own bookmark with your own motifs that you choose. So drop a comment down there. Let me know what's your favorite genre to read and what would you like to see on your bookmark, and we'll take it from there. So that is my fully finished, but it's not fully finished, but I can finally show you the finish object. That one, that was not, I started that on October 15th and I finished it on October 18th. It was a quick stitch. It's 117 by 33 and I put in 1,406 or so stitches on that. So that felt good to finish. The other thing that I just finished that felt really good to finish, I took this with me on my trip to New Orleans. This is one of my oldest whips. I started this on April 25th, 2021 when it first came out. This is Mojo Stitches. It's called Take Wing. This is number 2 in the Bushland Quaker series. And I finished it. I took it with me on my trip to New Orleans and I finished it. I've been working on this for 3 years, y'all, and it took me 5 days or something. Granted, I was stitching on the plane, so I was stitching for hours and hours. But once I got down, so I think the last time you saw it was when I had finished this motif. So I finished these 5 motifs. And, yeah, I got to a point after I finished this motif, which has like every color in the pattern, I got to a point where I could color complete across these last 5 motifs. So that's what I did. I color completed those last 5. And this is stitched in mostly uncalled for. So this is charted all in DMC. And I went through and I pulled I don't know where my flosses are right now. But I went through and I pulled a conversion and I used a lot of Cottage Garden threads because Cottage Garden threads are Australian. Wait a second. That might have been them actually. That wasn't them. Cottage Garden threads are Australian and Mojo Stitches is an Australian. Y'all. That was absolutely them that I just cast aside. So mostly Cottage Garden threads, my conversion. And then 1, 2 color and cotton. And then some DMC as well. But so this is mostly uncalled for. I used, I think the white I used the called for in the 3799. But this is on 18 count Vintage Country Mocha. I started this on April 25th, 2021, and I finished it November 2nd, 2024. And I will use this for my hashtag queued up Sal. Hold on one second. I don't have to go very far, so I'm not going to pause. I am going to use this for my hashtag queued up Sal. The idea is we love the designers we love, right? And very often I have multiple things by designers that I want to stitch. So the idea, and I don't remember who came up with Queued Up Sal. I want to say that it was Nithya with Daybreak Stitchery, but don't quote me on that because that might just be where I heard it. Anyway, I have this queued up. This is Bushland Quaker, which is the first one, also by Mojo Stitches. And this has a full DMC conversion. It has the model stitch. Model stitch was done with Cottage Garden threads and DMC. It has a full DMC conversion, and then it has an approximate overdyed conversion to other overdyed flosses that you know. And Joanna designed this in 2020. So this actually came out first. This, I think, is the exact same size. These two are the exact same size. And it just so happens that I took this piece of Vintage Country Mocha and I folded it in half. And I put this one and I'll put the other one over here. And then I'll probably just frame them together and I'll have 2. So that's what I'm going to do for a Queued Up Sal. And I'll use as many of these as I can in the conversion. I have to sit down and like look at it and plan it out, but like, how fun is that going to be? So I'll have Bushland Quaker and Bushland Quaker 2 take wing. And then, I don't know if you saw, and woe is me because I'm not buying anything right now. So this is a bummer, but I just remembered this. I think it's on the Cottage Garden Threads website. So let's look together. Cottage Garden Threads website. Mojo Stitches, Joanna has her own section because she uses a lot of Cottage Garden Threads. So this is the one that I just finished. Mojo Stitches, Bushland Quaker 2, take wing. This is the one that I'm about to start, Bushland Quaker. And I swear, yep, here it is. Mojo Stitches, Mistletoe, a Bushland Christmas ornament. So there's that. So there's that goes with this set that I have. So I am currently in a very mindful buying phase of my cross-stitch life. So I don't know that I'm going to be purchasing this yet, but very good possibility that I'll ask for this one for Christmas. I'm making a very limited Christmas list. But one thing I would like to do today is go through this. And I'll link that Mojo Stitches a Bushland Christmas ornament down below. Because you can get just what they usually do. So here, let me show you again. So what Katie does on the Cottage Garden Threads website is she'll list the chart. So you can buy just the chart. Or you can add in the flosses that are called for in the chart. And for me, like, this chart is going to use like partial strands of all of these. And also, this is a great way to build your Cottage Garden Thread stash, right? Because you're buying these flosses and you're already using them for something. I know I have some of these. Like I have Hearth. I might have Conservatory. But anyway, the bundle might be a Christmas gift for myself. So I'm going to go through today, and a lot of these colors are going to cross over. And I'm going to cross them over so that both of them... What I don't have, though, is that beautiful purple. I'm going to have to pull that out of there. I wonder what I think that's... I don't know what that is. That's got to be a Cottage Garden. Oh, it might just be DMC 31 and DMC 28. I actually just think that purple is... I think that's just a DMC. Well, that would be brilliant. Anyway, I'll find out later. So, that's for my queued up Sal. Queued up. Queued up Sal. So I'm going to put that under plans. Hashtag QUEUED up Sal. Bushland Quaker plus by ornament. Okay. So that was all of my finishes. That was a big finish. I was super excited about that. It was my second oldest whip, maybe even. August 25th, 2020. I think it might have been my second oldest whip. August 25th, 2021. My second oldest non-full coverage. Anyway, let me just keep qualifying that. I also have a finish for now, FFN, and that is my Stitch for Pride 2024 from D's 20 Stitches. And I can't believe this is almost over, y'all. This is almost done. I have 2 months to stitch on this, and D just put in the last stitches of December so that he can release it to us. It's almost done. So here is, I don't think I've shown you this since I finished October. So this is October. It was Edward Gorey. I hope I'm saying that right. It was Edward Gorey, and I used Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Shades of Gray with an accent of Threadworks Rustic Dark Rustic Cherry, something like that. Because each month I'm carrying forward the floss from the previous month, right? So I will go ahead and pick out something from January, like frog something from January so that I can put the December color in. But this is, let's look at. So this was September with the Rustic Cherry. So this was October. It was big. So this is Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Cotton in Shades of Gray. And then I did the whole skull in Rustic Cherry because that's what Helen did, and I do what Helen does. Except, and then this month is December. Or, sorry, current month is November, and it goes here. And November is... Wait, I have it here. November is Molly Vaughn. And Molly Vaughn is a trans artist, and Molly's work is challenging and educational, and I really good. Like, so Molly's work is very visual and also very performance art. So watching the videos this month was quite impactful. What Molly does is, I'm going to say she, but correct me if that's the wrong pronoun. I should go look it up. Molly she makes fabric based on the story of someone's death and their life. And then makes a garment that someone can wear while they're doing an ode to that person. And that ode to that person might be a very extravagant, like, moving dance or performance, or it might just be hosting a dinner for that person. So this is the colorway that Dee stitched his in from Jasmine's knitting nurse, Jazz. And then this is another dye lot that Jazz also produced. And this is what Megan stitched hers in. So leaning into the fact that dye lots can get very different, and also knowing that I didn't order Jazz's floss fast enough, I'm going to go with Stitchy Box Silk, Flower Silk, in the colorway Fuchsia. So down here, November will be stitched in this fuchsia. And it does have a little bit of variegation. It's a very tone-on-tone variegation. And then it will be paired with some of this Stitchy Box Shades of Gray. So that's going to be a pretty striking... This will be a pretty striking blend. Some of the months are brighter and, like, more pronounced. Like, September was mostly this and then a little bit of that pop. This one, barely, it blends in a lot. This one was a pop of yellow. This one was a pop of green. This one was green on red. This one was pink in that. So you can see how I pulled everything through. And then I think I will actually I'll either frog the heart or the X to put December's color in there. So let me know in the comments, would you frog the heart or would you frog the X to pull December's color into January and finish this off? I'm really excited. This is 40 Count Determination from Jessie at Mislaid Pages. And then this will be done. And then once this is done, I'll be able to cut the fabric and flip it over and stitch on my Grief Knows No Bounds, because I just barely got that started. So Grief Knows No Bounds, while I'm here, I might as well plug it. Grief Knows No Bounds is a charity piece that 5 of us designers worked on. And it is designed to support charities that support Palestine. So let me see if I can find. So there is a post on my Instagram, and I can link directly to the charity. But this is the pattern. And like I said, 5 of us got together and designed it. And if you make a donation to one of the charities, so Medium worked on it from Marumi Designs, Aya Rosen, Yasmin's Made with Love, me, and then Yasmin Crafty Yams. We all work together. So if you do a donation to one of the charities that we chose, then send one of us your receipt. We will send you this chart. So I will put a link down below also for that, so that you can have more information if you wanted to stitch this with me. I think this is going to be one of my main focuses for 2025. I would really, really like to have this stitched and framed and on my wall. I know I love this chart. So, shameless, you have 2 charities now. 2 shameless charity plugs to choose from. I never make a shameful charity plug. It's always shameless when I make charity plugs. So I should just call them charity plugs, because I never feel ashamed of that. Okay, so let's also look at, because I finished some things, I got to work on a summer bower, which is my hashtag tail end project. And just as a reminder, tail end projects are when you don't put the last bit of floss that you're working with, you don't put it back on the skein or on the bobbin, you just use it to stitch. You stitch it up. So this is the one that I'm currently working on. This is a beautiful chart from Modern Folk Embroidery called A Summer Bower. This was in the Summer 2020 Lakeside Needlecraft book that they put out. And you can see I am not stitching it monochromatically. So this is very not monochromatic. You might also be able to tell that it's very not stitched. I did not stitch this demure. This is not demure. This is not mindful. I very much deviated from the pattern accidentally, not on purpose. There's nothing wrong with Jacob's pattern that I would deviate from it on purpose. But you can see there's a lot more room in that bower than there should be for that one bird. And that's because I put an extra one of these here. So I have to figure out how to fill that up. But I think I can do it. So what did I finish since I last? So there's a lot. Stitch for Pride October finished the bird's head for me. Just a little bit. And then all of this, down this whole side, this is all from Take Wing. And then this over here you might recognize as my leftover flosses from my bookmark. That yellow is bright. This yellow, as I started stitching the yellow on this bookmark, I was like, hell no, that's an awful color. But now that it's in there, I'm like, actually, I love that yellow. So I don't know who I am. But all of this side got done this past fortnight because it's all from Take Wing. So really happy with how that's turning out. And there's a doodad in here. So I'll probably just put a couple more of these doodads, sprinkle them around. And then I also have to figure out how I'm going to... It's fine. You know what? It's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. But that's my summer bower, where we are with that. There. That's good. And then last but not least, since I finished my Stitch for Pride and my Take Wing, I love Marjorie Made Stitches on Instagram. Every fortnight we get a new challenge and it's called Pick a Whip. And this is a phenomenon and I am all here for it. I've stayed on top of 2 sales this year. One of them was Stitch for Pride and one of them was Pick a Whip. So this fortnight from November 1st to November 15th or so is stitch on a project with a house or a building. So I have been working on my Underwater City Sal. This is Barbara Anna Underwater City. Barbara Anna Designs Underwater City. And when I started it, the last time we all saw this together was June 27th. And it looked like that. That's what it looked like the last time y'all saw it. And here is where we are today. Are you ready for this? Bam. I even stitched on it this morning. I did a Twitch stream this morning and stitched on this morning. So this is what it looks like now. So the pattern crosses, the method to my madness is, here's the houses. So a house or a city. Or a house or a building rather. The method to this madness is the chart is divided into two pages, top and bottom. So this is the top page. So there's only 4 colors in this entire chart. 4 colors. And so I'm on the 4th color out of 4. I started with the face, as you could tell. And then once the face was stitched, it was pretty easy to go through and color complete everything. I will tell you there's one mistake in counting on this whole thing. And I'm not going to tell you where it is because you won't be able to find it. And I'm fine with that. So I got the dark blue put in all the way up to here. So I just have that much of the dark blue left, and then I'm on to the second half of the piece. And I do believe, and you hopefully will agree with me, is that from here down, well, I don't know. I'm trying to tell myself that from the neck down is less stitches than from the neck up. But I'm not totally sure. But anyway, this is my focus piece for now, and that's a major component of my plans. Today I have a lot of shipping to do, and I'd like to get that done. I also need to listen to Chapel Roan because I haven't yet. Don't at me. Just tell me what's your favorite song, and I'll listen to them in that order. But then I also have a queued up Sal for this one because I have a ton of Barbara Anna designs. So someone asked me last week, how do you keep track of your charts that you haven't started stitching yet in Notion? And I said, thank you for asking. I'll show you here. So this is my Notion app. If you don't know, my friend Nati, Stitchy Natty, let me back it up. Notion, just like www.notion.so, is an organizational and tracking software. And then people design templates. They program them. Nati did all the programming work for these templates. I have a bunch of her templates. She did all the programming work to make the Stitchery Notion template. So this is my Stitchery Notion template. I also have one for my designs. I also have a tarot journal that I bought on Etsy that someone designed for Notion. So you can go on Etsy and you can find all kinds of journals. I keep track of my daily tarot card pulls in there. But back to my Stitchery. So you have all of these options, and one of the options is patterns and projects in a database. So you can see here that I have I have 3 categories of patterns and projects: to do, in progress, and completed. So this isn't a complete list of all of the patterns I have, although 126, you would kind of hope it would be a complete list. It's not. Anyway, it is a complete list of my whips, which I have 19 of them currently. So those are all the things that I currently have on the go. And then it's a moderately complete list for at least the last 2 years of my finishes. So I have 88 finishes that I've tracked in the last 2 years. But let's not talk about my finishes or my whips. Let's talk about my to-do patterns. How do I track those? Or how do I put them in, rather? So super easy to add patterns. You just click new. And you can add a whip, a finish, or something that you're working on. So I'm going to sort designer. I'm going to sort ascending so that we can find all of my Barbara Anna designs. Because next up for me is Neuron City. So once I finish my Underwater City, I'm going to start Neuron City. And so what I've done here is, it's the title. And I like to put these little icons next to them, so all of mine will have icons. It's the title. It's the designer. Where is the thing? Is it in my filing cabinet? Is it in my whip drawer? Is it in my PDF folder? Although I have to change this because I don't have a whip drawer anymore, so I have to go through and change these, but that's okay. Anyway, Neuron City is in my PDF folder. It's a PDF. I classified it as a large one, and then I have a picture. So this is the one that I'll start next. After I finish Underwater City, I'll start Neuron City. I just think there's not enough patterns that have neurons in them. But that's all I do to put a pattern in there. I don't really have any new patterns to add, but we can I'll add this one and then I'll delete it because I'm going to give this one away. I meant to give it away last time. So this is Ivy Sampler from Lone Elm Lane, and I'm going to show you right now how to add it to your Notion. So on your patterns and projects page in your Notion, you'll click new, and that'll bring up a page, and it's preloaded and it says new project, and you can put as much information here or as little. So I delete new project and I say Ivy's Sampler, and then in the designer, as I use designers, it creates a tag for them. So I'll start typing. I don't have anything from Lone Elm Lane yet, so I'll type Lone Elm Lane. And since it's not already created, I'll type create. That adds Lone Elm Lane as the designer. I haven't started it yet. I haven't finished it yet. There's no FFO date, so I'll leave all of those blank. Progress, I'm not ready to kit it up yet, so I'll say chart in stash because that's the status of it. You can click this paper chart. If you click this, then I think it doesn't count the number of stitches. If you click this, it changes something. Don't ask me, ask Nati, but I don't know what it changes. Stitch count, the designer didn't give us the number of stitches on this, so I'm going to leave that blank. But dimensions are on there. This is 120 wide by 89 high. And again, you can put in as many of these data points or as few of these data points as you want, right? I'm going to leave fabric, DMC, and floss blank because I haven't kitted it up yet, so I don't know what I'm going to use. And then really everything else, leaving blank. Oh, not true. I'll classify this as a medium-sized project. And then where is it? It is going to be in my filing cabinet. Actually, it is going to be in my Flosstube bin because it's going to be a giveaway. And then if I stitch on it on any given day, I can link it to any one of my Flosstubes because my database is linked. So now in my patterns and projects, over here in the to-do section, you can see it went from 126 to 127. And if I scroll down to the L's, sorry, it's a lot of scrolling. If I scroll down to the L's for Lone Elm Lane, HIJKL, where is it? I probably had to resort because it probably went to the very bottom. So bear with me. There it is. I saw it. Did you see it? Right there. Where is it? There it is. IV Sampler, Lone Elm Lane. Don't ask me why that's not alphabetizing, because I don't know. So that's how you do it. And then if you want to get rid of it, delete. Delete. That's it. That's how you do it. So this is the giveaway, by the way. This was meant to be the giveaway last week, but I said fill out the Google form, and then I didn't put up a Google form. So I actually made the Google form this week, and you'll be able to fill it out. So if you want this is Ivy's sampler from Lone Elm Lane. It says, my thoughts to him who made the flowers and gave us all that we call ours. Ivy Elizabeth, 26 October 8th. I picked it up off of a freebie table, or a friend picked it up off of a freebie table at a retreat that we were both at. And I said I would just stitch the basket because I think it's so pretty and just leave the words off. I have not done that yet. So I'm going to give it to somebody who hopefully will. So fill out the Google form down below and let me know that you want this. And I'll pick a winner and send it out next week. Okay, what else? Let me go back to my... I'm nothing without my Flosstube planner, by the way, in Notion. Okay, so we talked about all my whips. We kind of talked about my plans. I have to ship stuff. I have to listen to Chapel Roan. I want to finish Underwater City. I would like to also start on the Stitch for Pride November. We'll see about all of that. And then the Queued Up Sal for Bushland Quaker. Those are my priorities right now. Purchases. Okay, purchases. I am in Lil Stabby's Patreon, and I am at the level of Patreon where Wit sends me needle minders, and I can't quite tell if it's monthly needle minders, or if it's bi-monthly, whatever. Anyway, Wit has been working on making things out of polymer clay. So these are the needle minders for August. We had a little snafu with my address. There's a bat wing, which is super cool and like iridescent. And then there's this cutie little ghost. And these are made of polymer clay, and Wit made these. And I don't know how she did it because that little pumpkin is precious. But I love them. That ghost feels very Charlie Brown with his little ghost shoes. So thank you, Wit. I love these. This is so cool. That feels so dark. I gotta find an appropriately dark project to put that on. And then I'm going to do purchases and Happy Mail all together because it's just kind of all stacked together. This is from my friend Kaylin Francis, and Kaylin was thrifting, and she said she found this, and she said I had to have it because I have to fully finish something in it, and I think she's totally right, because look at this. Look at this frame. Look at those keys. Aren't those cool? And bike chain. This thing is heavy as hell, by the way. I don't know where it came from because it doesn't have a sticker on it anymore, but Kaylin found it at the thrift store. So it can sit up, or there's a hanger on it so that you can hang it. But How cool is that? And since I'm on a Barbara Anna kick right now, I don't know if you noticed, but Barbara Anna always puts a key in all of her designs. So I'm going to see if I have any Barbara Annas that will fit in this. And if not, I might have to just stitch something small and fit it in that and then fully finish it and hang it up. But this needs to hang in a stud because it's heavy. So thank you, Kaylin. And then a couple people actually reached out to me and said, I have charity stuff to send you. Can I send it to you? And I said, sure. And I just want to say, I love that. Please do not send me anything without checking with me first, because I am overflowing occasionally. And then I get down, and then I get up, and then I get down. So I'll just go through some of these. So these are from a couple of friends who will remain nameless, but these are things that you should see coming up either for giveaway or charity. Erica Michaels, Blessings Be More. This is a cute little whoops-a-daisy from Little Stitch Girl. October 31st Pin Keep, which is adorable, from Stitches by Ethel. That little kitty. This is Tomato Witch by Lucy Beam. This is the Drawn Thread. And this is totally, it's called Toccata. This is not my style, but it has the fabric and the flosses. So that'll be an auction item. This is called Summer Sampler. And it's from Sisters and Best Friends, I think. I'm not taking it out of the bag. And it comes with flosses with some substitutions and fabric. This is a Just Nan. Butterflies, Blossoms, and Beads. These are always so detailed. And it came with a small start. You can see it there. But it looks like it's the full kit, because the beads are up here and the flosses and fabric are back there. And then there's some charts. So this is Pumpkin Farm from Blackbird Designs. Sailing Home, also from Blackbird Designs. This one is still available. I had not seen this one, but I love the ships on the flower. This is a birth sampler. Who knew? Works by ABC, Kindness. It says no active kindness, however small, is no active kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. This is The Scarlet House, A Perfect World. In a perfect world, you would find me here with the birds and the flowers and the dogs and the deer. Autumn Lane, Moons Out, Rooms Out. That's a fun one. This is an oldie but a goodie. It's from the Needle Love Company. This is the Herb Garden. I've seen people stitch this with the bee skep in the middle. Okay, this one I love. I have to set down these other ones so I can show you this one with both hands. This is from a magazine called Cross Stitch and Beading. And I've seen this magazine multiple times, and I've actually had it in my collection before because I love this painting. And also it has these voluptuous mermaids. So I'm going to show you the voluptuous mermaids because they're awesome. And then I actually don't know if I'm going to put this up for auction or if I'm going to send it to my friend Kim, because there's a lot of beading in this, and my Kim is newly obsessed with beading. So here are the voluptuous mermaids. There's 4 of them, and they come in 3 colors. And I just think they're so much fun. And you can stitch them. These are stitched, and these are beaded. This magazine is cool. If you ever find it, snap it up, because it's a really high quality, it's a really high quality magazine. And then here's another one, Cross Stitch and Beading. And this one I love because I love these little creatures. I probably would cut off the joy of the stocking and just stitch these little creatures. But it also has a beaded emu. Christmas emu. And you can stitch the emu, or you can bead the emu. And I just think that's so cute. I love that. Okay. And then this one, it's called Little Cross Stitch Purses. And I really love this. And I really love that burb. And you can always remember, and that's really cool too. You can always remember that when you see an old magazine like this, you don't have to make a purse. But that's a cool burb. I would stitch that. And this peacock also. Very cool. And then some shepherd's bush. One shepherd's bush stocking. This is Sophie. And then these are fun. Calico Crossroads. for the cat. This is called File This. Rise and Shine. And meow.com. Don't worry, Kim, I'll send you both of those. And then I really like Ellen Chester with My Needle. I got 2 copies of this. This is called Cherished Works. So it is a thread palette, a needle book, and something else. But a lot of times her patterns make things that are practical. So like the big one turns into this, and then you put the little ones inside of it. And it says, cherish all that you hold dear. This is from 2001. 2 of them. So if people want to sell them. And then this one was fun too, because I'm also designing a beachy thing right now. This is Jeanette Douglas Designs Summer at the Ocean. This is from a long time ago. But it's a Jeanette Douglas band sampler with all kinds of cool specialty stitches. And you can stitch it as a band sampler, or you can make it into that cool rolled pillow. So that's really fun with the pinwheels and everything. Jeanette Douglas has a lot of these designs that she does, and she does it as like a teaching thing. So she'll do this design, and then she'll go to a retreat or a class, and she'll teach the stitches. That's how I actually got to meet her at Acorns and Threads. So those are just some of the things that people sent me for charity, which are going to be fun. So you'll see them as giveaways, you'll see them as charity, all kinds of stuff. And then I was meant to go to the Barefoot Needle Art Beach Retreat in October, but I missed it because we had just bought a house, and it didn't feel like the appropriate time to leave Wade and Rosie with a half unpacked house and just gallivant off, although I wanted to go gallivant off. But Amy and Memory were kind enough to send me my swag. So they sent me my stuff, and this is so cute. So my friend Holly, Stitchy Pros, she was the featured designer, and she designed this. If crabby, please return to the beach. And I got 40 count linen and DMC. There's one Classic Colorworks, but this is 40 count linen from Barefoot Needle Art. They dyed it. It's called Sandy Toes. So I think probably, depending on the size of that crab is going on my retreat spot sampler. Almost positive that crab is going on my retreat spot sampler. And then I love her border. I love everything Holly did. They sent me even my name tag. So I got my name tag. And then this is super cute. They made us these little buckets, and it just has a roll of felt in the middle and then pins. How adorable is that? And then our needle minder fits the theme. Oh, it's not a needle minder. It's a pin. It is a crab. Little crabby crab. And then I can't even tell you how much I love this. It's a 5-color highlighter, and it has the logo of the beach retreat on it. I am a paper pattern person, and I highlight my paper patterns, and the fact that I can highlight in 5 colors now. I know I could go buy 5 different colors of highlighters, but I don't. I just buy bulk yellow. But this, and then this is really fun. I don't know if you've heard the story of the story of the starfishes. The gist of the story is 2 people are walking down a beach, and there's just hundreds of starfishes on the beach, all washed up. And one of the people is throwing in all the starfishes that they come across. And the other person says, you can't throw them all in. You're not making a difference at all. And the first person put a starfish back in the water, and they said, well, I made a difference to that one. So they gave us a zipper pull / scissor fob that has a little starfish in it to remind us that we make a profound difference. And they also sent, that's the story in there. I just summed it up. And then I got a little bit of beach sand from Myrtle Beach. How fun. It's not going to focus, but whatever. And then last but not least, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. If I'm going to hang it or wrap up in it. It feels like it would be warm. They sent us all Barefoot Needle Art flag wrap. I don't know. This is my favorite color of gray. So I think I could wear it. It's got some rainbows on it. I don't I don't know, y'all. Is it a wrap? It's a really light fabric, but it's also one of those that can generate some heat. So Barefoot Needle Art. And I'm so bummed that I missed the retreat because there were some really great people there. Both people that I know and people that I don't yet know. So I'm still a little salty about having missed the retreat, but there it is. Okay, last but not least, the charity items for auction this week on my Patreon. The charity items for auction this week on my Patreon are a little bit like, sorry about your luck, and congratulations for those of you who missed out last time. So I'm just scrolling through my Patreon. So I'm working again with my friend Julia, and Julia's charity is Housing Works USA. Wait a second. Housing Works charity auction. So a couple of people didn't claim their charity auction items from Julia and didn't pay for them. So they're back up on auction. So this one is 8 mini skeins and a bonus neutral from Legacy Fiber Arts. It's all fingering weight. So you get 8 mini skeins and a bonus neutral. That's the first item. The second item, those went. That went. That went. Where's the next item? Let me just look on my Discord. So the next item is going to be, bear with, this blue flower. So this is Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. This is charted all in DMC. So you'll get the chart, and then you'll get Julia's tiny start. And they started it in the called for flosses, just DMC, so you won't get the DMC. You'll have to pull that from your stash, but you do get their fabric and their start. So that's the second auction item. And then the third auction item is this. It's called Blackbird Designs Necessity Box and Strawberry. It's called Secret Garden. And you get the pattern for both this little box top and the strawberry. And then you get the called for flosses. And so Julia has the pattern and the flosses, and I'll throw in the fabric. So whoever wins this, you can tell me what kind of fabric you like to stitch on, and I'll find you a piece of fabric to send you. So whoever wins this will donate and send your receipt to Julia, but then you'll get parcels from both of us. So those are the auction items for this week. Because the people who bid on them last time didn't claim them, didn't donate. So if you are watching and you won one of those auction items last week, or last time it was up in September, please bid again, because you have to get in contact with the person who's running the auction if you want to get your item. And if you already donated, please send your receipt to Julia again. The listing, I replied to the winners on here with instructions on how to do it. So please get in contact with Julia if you already donated and you want your item, because they have not heard from you. So it's time to move on to the next. Okay. Speaking of moving on, that is all the cross stitch I have. All the cross stitch, all the auctions, all the charity possibilities. Don't forget to go get your bookmark book. This bookmark book that I talked about through Bad Stitch, it's only available through November 17th. So you only have until next Sunday, 1 week from when this video is going to go live, to get these 27 patterns. We all might release them later separately, but I got to tell you, this pattern is one of 27, and I'm not saying like mine's the best. My pattern is one of 27 that you can get for a minimum $15 donation right now. When I release this pattern, it's going to be a $10 pattern, because there's going to be more options. It's going to be modular, but like, people will release these patterns, but you will not be able to get all 27 of these patterns for $15. So if you like even part of the bookmark patterns, I would say jump on it now, donate to the charity. The last time I checked, we were already up over $12,000 donated, which is wild. Let me look again and see if we have another. People are already finishing the books. Pixopotamus already finished one of the books. So we have oh my God. As of yesterday, November 9th at 6:19 a.m., our total for this charity bookmark book, 839 donations for $18,150.05. Dolly Parton's Imagination Library has gotten half of those at $9,062. So if you love Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, donate to that. But I would say also Black Children's Books and Authors International Book Project. They're both still in the $1,000 range. So if you could choose one of those and get those up over the $2,000, that would be amazing. It's incredible. Bookmarks, $18,000. It's wild. There's Witchy Stitcher in there. There's Stitch Sprout, Bad Stitch, so many. Shaded Stitchery. But it's only available for one more week. So let's see what we can do in this final week push. Okay, so thank you so much. If you're only here for the stitching, that's it for the stitching. I'll see you next week. If you're here for tarot cards and books, stay because I got a lot of them. I was in New Orleans last week, and my goal in New Orleans was to buy a darker tarot deck. So I bought 2 tarot decks accidentally. Well, they both spoke to me. So I was kind of, the first day I was walking around the French, our hotel was in the French Quarter. I was at a nursing convention, and the hospital sent us, and we had some downtime. So while I was wandering around the French Quarter, I was specifically looking for a shop that was selling tarot cards. For the first 4 days, I had a really hard time finding those shops. And then I kind of let go of the need to find a deck. And I swear the last day that I was shopping, every shop I went into had tarot decks. Every single one of them. So the first day I was there, I did find a deck, and I almost didn't buy it, but I picked it up and I put it down, and I picked it up and I put it down, and I picked it up, and finally I was like, you've picked this up too many times, it's yours now. And this is The Trickster's Tarot by Jia Sung. It's a tarot deck and guidebook. The box is huge. It has a very satisfying opening and closing. So you open up this, and it has a huge book. It's like a pseudo hardcover. And then it has a box within a box of the cards. They're not in here. They're out here so I can show them to you. But they're really cool. So this is based on, this book is like, this is a hefty book. So this deck, the imagery is based on Journey to the West, which is a 16th century novel attributed to Wu Chang'an, one of the most beloved and often retold stories from the Chinese literary canon. So I'll just flip you through some of these cards. The Hierophant. Let me just do it this way, so you can randomly. Okay. So Death is one of my favorite cards in any deck, and this deck has a great Death card. I just love the art. I love the imagery. That's a great Death card. This is the 8 of Cups. So each of the minors is based on one of the animals that represents, look at Strength. That's a good one. Each of the minors is based on, obviously, an element and also one of the animals that represents a direction. The Magician. 2 of Swords. The swords are the tiger, so it's all kitties. Justice. I don't love the Justice card. It doesn't speak to me like some other decks do. The Lovers. I do love that card. Queen of Cups. The Cups is the black tortoise of the East, I think. 6 of Wands. 9 of Wands. So the art on the cards is really cool. Let me see if I can find. So each of the minors is based on Chinese constellations that are considered guardians of the 4 cardinal directions. So the cups are symbolized by the black tortoise of the north, wands by the red bird of the south, coins by the blue dragon of the east, and swords by the white tiger of the west. So just handling this deck made me realize like how much I miss it. I've been pulling a lot from my second deck that I got from New Orleans, but I think I'm going to start pulling from this one next. And I don't like it keeping it within the box. It's a little bit humbug, but this is a great deck. I love this deck, and the cards have a really beautiful feel to them. So I'm really glad I got it. It wasn't what I was looking for at all, but it was what found me. So it was also on sale, which to me is a huge bonus. The other deck that I got was one that I was looking for, one that I very much wanted. And it was like this on the shelf. It said Memento Vivere. And this is actually the death card. It's called Santa Muerte in this deck. So this is called Santa Muerte Tarot, the Book of the Dead. It's by Fabio Listrani. He's an Italian artist. And the guidebook is in English, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, and Japanese. All in this little book. And before I go through all the cards, I'll show you. And one thing I love about this deck is the symbolism to each card is deep. It's deep. Like, it takes a long time to look at these cards. So I drew the King of Pentacles today. And the book says, a rational person, mature, wise. Through their intelligence, they have managed to prosper and accumulate a lot of material goods. The King of Pentacles therefore brings with them good earnings, rationality, and certainty. Their defect is the risk of materialism poisoning their moral and spiritual characteristics. So it has an explanation, and then it has something called the Advice of the Dead. The Advice of the Dead for this card is help someone who needs it and who asks for support as you can. Your reward will arrive in another form, but it will enrich you all the same. So that's today's card from the Santa Muerte deck. This is the deck that came to me when I kind of let go of like my like super duper need to buy more decks. And this is the one that I found. I drew this card a couple days ago. This is the Sun. I will not buy a tarot deck if the Sun is a naked baby riding a horse. I won't do it. I won't do it. But I love this card, the Five of Cups. Like, this deck is just really good. And it's a little bit dark. It's a little bit spooky. But it's not like, I don't know. Look at the Hermit. I like this card gives me what I needed in terms of a dark deck. All of the 10s are butterflies. I drew that 10 of Cups, the blue one. All of the 10s are butterflies or moths, which I enjoy. It gives me what I wanted and what I needed in terms of dark cards. Look at the Ace of Wands. But it's not like, it's not horror. I love this Three of Pentacles. You're putting in the work and you're starting to see a little bit of growth, but most of what you see still is your hard work. The growth is kind of, see how the growth is behind them? I don't know. This is a great deck. I love this deck. If you're looking for something that's like a little bit darker and a little bit, it's like ominous, I guess, is how I would describe it. But it's not comforting. I like this deck a lot. Yeah, I started looking through this deck and I had to get it. Also, this deck came from a shop down in New Orleans called Sassy Magic New Orleans. And the people in that shop were like so wicked kind. They were just really nice. Chatty, but not too chatty. You know what I mean? And 10 out of 10, if you're in New Orleans, go find Sassy Magic. It's right in the French Quarter. It's on Charter Street. And it was a great shop. It was a great shop. Okay. And then last but not least, I read books. I read books. Because I traveled. So I was listening to books. So the first one that I finished was To Be Taught, If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. And this is actually a novella. So it's the novella itself is only 140 pages long. So it was a very quick listen. It's very science-y. So the premise is the novella follows these four astronauts as they travel the cosmos, and they're out to explore exoplanets. So planets that are like Earth, that could potentially support Earth-like life. And instead of the problem that science has been running into is, how do we make these planets safe for Earthlings? And the answer that these people came up with is, we don't make the planet safe, we make our bodies safe. So they practiced something while they were in stasis, transitioning from planet to planet. They practiced something called soma forming. One planet had an extremely high gravity, so their bodies the soma forming made their bodies bigger and bulkier, and their hearts were more able to pump, etc., etc., right? It's really less about, it's a little bit about what they encountered on each planet, but it's more about the psychological journey that each person took on this trip across the cosmos. So good. Absolutely read this or listen to it. It was really good. It was quick. It was worth it. I would read it again. And I'm going to listen to more Becky Chambers because I've gotten some really strong, you have to read Becky Chambers comments. The other one I finished was so different. It was called The Bruising of Kilwa, by Nassim Jamnia. Sorry, Nassim, said your name wrong. So many great things about this book. It's a magic-based society where magic it's not taken for granted, but it is taken for granted that some people have magic. It's set in a Persian-inspired queer normative alternate reality to what is current now. I love Persian culture. I have, from the exposure that I've had to it, super interesting. I feel like we focus too much on like Western classical civilizations. That's what I majored in. Not nearly enough on the classical civilizations that came before Greece and Rome, but that's a whole nother video. And the queer normative world was done so well that you almost don't notice at first how normal it is to be queer in this book, because the author just writes it. They just write it. There's not even any tiny bit of signaling like, hey, look at this, what I'm doing. It's just written the way it is. The author also did a lot of work to explore and unpack something that I thought was very interesting. And there was an author's end note at the end that I highly encourage. If you read the book or listen to the book, I would highly encourage you to listen to the author's end note, because the author himself reads the end note. And in the end note, the author talks about the need to unpack the fact that, and how he tried to unpack it through writing this book, Persian culture, his culture, was very much a colonizing, conquering culture centuries ago, and is now very much a persecuted culture currently. And how the author and other people in his culture have to kind of work through that fact that now they are persecuted, but they have this long history of colonization and imperialism in their history. So they are currently both, right? They are currently imperialist colonizers. They are also currently persecuted to within an inch of their lives, and sometimes past an inch of their lives, right? So super interesting discussion in the endnotes from the author that made me want to go back and listen to the whole book again with that kind of frame of reference. I also loved the ending because it was a super gray ending. It was not a happy ending. It was not a sad ending. There was not a winner. There were only kind of losers. Everyone lost in a different way to varying degrees, and people were dealing with it how they would. But just really, I loved how real the ending was, because I think a lot of times there's not at the end of an era or at the end of an altercation in real life, you can't walk up, an outsider couldn't walk up to a situation and be like, that person's the good guy and that person's the bad guy. You can't do that in this book. You can't. Just please read this book. Please read this book. That's all I have to say. I keep talking and talking, but the gist of it is like, please just read that book. And that one did make me think a lot, and it was a challenge to listen to, and I wanted to listen to it again. So kind of as a palate cleanser now, I'm listening to The Well of Ascension from Brandon Sanderson, because when in doubt, Brando Sando. I have some friends who are who are pushing me in the Brandon Sanderson. I had to wait so long to get this from Libby. I love Libby. My audiobooks free through my library. It just takes a long time. You have to be willing to wait. So, Brandon Sanderson. This is the second, The Well of Ascension is the second book in the Mistborn series. And I read the first one, I don't even know how long ago, years ago probably. And this one picks right up where that one left off, and I was right back in that world, and I love this world. So I haven't finished it yet. It's like 29 hours of audiobook, which I will get through, which is probably why I haven't listened to Chapel Roan yet, because I've been listening to 29 hours of Brandon Sanderson. That's not why, but could be contributing. But yeah, I'll finish it. I'll love it. I'll recommend it. So you might as well just put it on your list right now, because Brandon Sanderson, and I'm going to love it. So I think that's it, y'all. I did forget to talk about a freebie. So if you're still here, I forgot to check out this freebie. But check out this freebie. This is from Witch's Garden Crafts. And you might have noticed, or you might not have noticed, that I did not talk about the election this week. I'm just so disappointed. But I think Witch's Garden Crafts is right, and the thing that I'm clinging to and leaning on are my friends, and the fact that joy is an act of resistance. Joy is not the only act of resistance. But to be joyful and to be part of a community, and to realize that there are so many of us who are radicalized. And when someone says, what radicalized you? My answer to that is just that I like human beings, and I think everyone deserves the same freedoms. And that's all it took to radicalize me. So, doing the work, staying radical, leaning into your community, knowing that you're part of a community, right? We're not just a bunch of people out here alone, like some people want us to think we are. We are absolutely part of a huge community who knows that we as a society and world can do better, and also hanging on to that joy. Because joy is an act of resistance. So if you want this chart, if you'd like to stitch this chart, if you need some joy while you're resisting, Witch's Garden Crafts has directions here in the post about how to get it off of her Facebook group. So that is your check out this freebie for this week that I forgot. So that's what I've got. I think I covered it all, and if I didn't, I'll cover it again next week. This was a long Flosstube, I'm pretty sure, because I've been talking for a long time, and usually I have more time to talk after I film, but it's good. We're good. We got stuff going on. We got auctions. We've got giveaways. Fill out the links below. If you stayed this long, thank you, because you're probably my people if you stayed this long. So I'll see you next week. Coffee cheers, and get your bookmarks, and email me if you make a donation for Grief Knows No Bounds. There's links below down for that too. And